able to turn on their video?
Mr. Febble says that his connection works best off. The connection does.
Yeah. What about Lieutenant Gonzalez?
No, I was at the range all day and I just got out of the shower, so I'm not appropriate to turn on my camera.
Okay, well, moving forward, if everyone can have their videos on, that's when we want to conduct the meeting so that everyone can see your beautiful faces. You're representing the department to the community. I think they should be able to put a name with the face. That's all.
You're live, Chair Riles.
Okay, very good. I hope everyone was able to get a copy of the redraft. Clearly, it's not the final. We want to do some work tonight on it. I know that there's some grammatical and other work that needs to be done, but I think the principal work around the positions that are being put forward are clear, and we can talk about that. We also received some written comments from Tap Tango. Is Tap Tango on the line?
That's me, it's Twan.
Oh, great. Okay. He gave us some extensive comments about various positions that were taken in the document. We had also been hoping to hear from the chief about some of these positions and hadn't had the opportunity to do that. We know time was tight. It was late on that, I guess it was Wednesday that we got it to the department, or it was Friday, I guess. And I don't know if the department had a chance to call together the gathering that they had intended. Could someone informed me, please, where the department is on any response at this point?
Good evening, Mr. Riles. I appreciate it. I do know that Chief Mitchell is out. He has been out for several weeks on a pre-planned event. He does return tomorrow, so I can't officially speak for the chief of police. As to specifically where they're at, I do know that we had some rebuttals for some of the questions and concerns that the community may have that we're happy to discuss during this meeting.
Okay. I know that we're going to be, I'm sure that three commissioners are going to be doing some further work on this before it comes to the commission. And right now, Ms. Montgomery, I'm expecting that this will be at the second meeting in September, that this would come before the commission. Am I right in assuming that?
We do that. We could do the 2nd, or we can do the 1st of October, one of those. We could
Okay.
plan for you. I'll just stay in lockstep with you when you let me know so that we can plan accordingly.
Okay, we want to make sure that we hear fully from the department for sure, and we want to take into account what we just received today from Juan, I think, Tango.
One.
That's Twan with a T as in Tom.
Oh, okay, Tuan. Oh, yes, okay. All right. So the first part is pretty straightforward. Tuan did have a response to let's see, the comment that militarized equipment is an excessive force issue and there's no evidence it makes the city safer. I don't know if you want to comment on that any further.
I believe that was something that was highlighted by another person, not me, but we could talk about that. There was multiple emails that went back and forth.
Yes, and you also made a comment that about the Bearcats, whether or not, even though it was misused, whether it should be taken out of the kit for the toolkit for the department.
Well, there was the Pollock case, and that looks like it was a failure in decision making and how we are training and the policy, and that the equipment in and of itself is not responsible, and the equipment is actually used as a standard equipment across the country for many safety operations, including rescuing hostages. When we have crowds that are throwing, Molotov cocktails, we want to make sure that our responders to these emergencies are protected. And the SUV alternative civilian vehicles are not fire proof. So we need to make sure that not only our residents are protected and that our officers responding to emergency situations are protected. So this is standard equipment that's used across the country. And when we have short staff in OPD, we need to make sure that they're equipped. So funding OPD isn't just staffing, but also training and equipment. So not just personnel. This is integral to public safety, so we shouldn't be overlooking that.
Yes, we made some comments about the training, and specifically spending a lot more time dealing with the training bulletin and the training program for the department, and also looking at what other models might be able to accomplish what the department said they want from the Bearcat. Not every department has a Bearcat in the
Well,
country.
we have towns, we have incorporated areas in Alameda County, and we have unincorporated areas. We have cities of various sizes. A city of an area with 2 people in a town might not have all the requirements that a city, a medium-sized metropolitan city of 500,000 people, including many undocumented immigrants. We need resources, and the city doesn't have enough resources to provide public safety. That's why people recall Pamela Price and Sheng Tao for missing the retail theft grant when residents are suffering and stores are facing robberies and closures. So we have an issue, a real issue here, and we need to address it in a serious manner. And not having proper equipment to protect our residents and letting criminals running loose is not the solution. That's not what residents and voters are looking for.
Yeah, we want to reduce crime. Crime is going down, and there's a lot of reasons why people vote. I don't think you can designate what it is as to why people particularly voted in one way or another.
Well, there have been many repeated polls showing that public safety is the #1 issue of concern. So we need to address that, and that's why this conversation is absolutely critical.
Yeah, I just want to say really quick, Commissioner Rouse. No, thank you, Mr. No. That's how you say your last name, No, correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your participation. No one's talking about not giving them appropriate level of protection. We're just saying that it doesn't need to be the level of paramilitary. So there are different options out there that can give them the same level of protection that they currently have under the Bearcat that would not be paramilitary. That's what we're proposing. And the department a couple of years ago did propose alternatives that were non-paramilitary that would accomplish the same goal. The department did. They researched it and presented it to the commission. And all we're saying is that we want to go forward with that rather than go back to having this debate again, because that's where we were in the discussion. I see Miss Two's got her hand up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Just kind of watching the time, I hear the concerns around the Bearcat, and I also heard that the department wanted to share some of their rebuttals. So I'm really hoping that we can have time for that discussion. I'm also hoping we might be able to look at what parts we do have agreement on, so that way we can have an idea of what we need to do to move forward. And
Appreciate
also-
that.
Oh, sorry. And also one more question, which is, I'm not entirely sure process-wise, what this ad hoc is looking for. Like, I assume we're not looking for consensus from all of the people who are panelists here. So, maybe some clarification on that too.
Yeah, so it's the commissioners who would be making any kind of final decision. We're looking for input from both the department and from citizens who participate. But the decision as to what would be brought before the commission will be made by the three commissioners, essentially. You're right. What I heard from is it Captain Fibble, is that the chief would be possibly providing some rebuttal to some of the positions when he comes back into town. I didn't hear that you all were prepared to bring that to the ad hoc tonight. Am I wrong in that?
No, Commissioner Rouse, you are correct, sir. We do not have any formal presentation without, of course, the blessing of the chief. But we do have some basic information regarding the rifles, possible funding sources, as well as a quote, as well as some background research that we also did on the proprietor we could potentially buy them from, if you guys would like to hear it.
Oh, definitely. Why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, sir. So yeah, as we discussed in the prior meeting, the Oakland Police Department currently has 70 patrol rifles in its arsenal. Those rifles are over 10 years old, and they are closely encountering their maximum life cycle barrel life, which typically is between 12 and 15,000 rounds. Lieutenant Gonzalez can obviously speak as a subject matter expert in terms of the nomenclature of the weapon itself, its systems, and the failures that we're experiencing. I know that we had a particular training just recently, I believe it was last week, where we had some failures. He could discuss that in a moment. But we do believe that we found obviously a very highly reliable, suitable, as well as affordable replacement. We are only asking for the replacement of the exact number of rifles that we currently have in our arsenal, which is 70. To replace that number, and we would be requesting permission to use asset forfeiture funds that the city has acquired that would not directly impact the fiscal budget. And Ms. Kima Joseph did the courtesy of looking into the proprietor of LC Action, this because there were concerns that they may have had some violations regarding their FFL, their firearms license, federal firearms license. And to surmise, they have no known infractions with their FFL, which is good news.
Very good.
LC Action, was that the name? Sorry.
Correct, sir. LC Action. They are they're called LC Action Police Supply. They are a local vendor in the city of San Jose.
Thank you. Commissioner
Very-
Wells, can we, Mr. Geis had his hand up. He didn't get a chance to weigh in. Can we just go to him really quickly?
Sure. Mhm.
Thank you,
Mr.
everybody.
Geis?
So, just a couple items here. I'm still shocked by this letter. I don't really feel like this is a report. I feel like this is an opinion letter written by the defund police movement. I think this is definitely represents a portion of the city, but it's a big city. I think there are some problems in here. I can't call this a report. There's no citations I can look at. There's fallacies throughout it. It is very frustrating. I mean, we talk about one use of the Bearcat, and now we're talking about removing it. I want to get further into the Bearcat discussions. And there's a statement here that I'll just point out that I'm at a loss at, which talks about much of the equipment shows very little use. When I hear that, I hear that the training that the police are doing is working. It's showing that they are not maliciously using this equipment. And it just shows that this is an opinion letter. I cannot be a part of this. I don't want my name on this letter unless it's significantly revised to include more viewpoints. I think the police representatives have put in their time, and I feel like they've been disregarded by this opinion letter.
I appreciate that, Mr. Geis. I think that's why the commission is to make a decision. That's why the commission has been set up in order to make a judgment. You may consider it to be an opinion. It's a judgment, and it will be decided by the three ad hoc commissioners and the commission as a whole, and then the city council. Both the city council's public safety committee and the full city council will also make a judgment, which you may consider to be just an opinion. But it's the positions that we hold give us the responsibility to essentially make a decision in that regard, considering all the things that come before us, which we would hope would include your thinking and comments as those of everyone else. I have to say that there were a lot of citations that were included in this essentially by Commissioner Farmer, but I did not carry those forward because most of the decisions of the commission or of the city council don't have citations attached to them. It's not an academic analysis that is done. It's based on the opinions, based on folks' own research and analysis. I'm sure Mr. Farmer would have no problem, or I could send you those citations, which he had included on each one of those items. It's not just it's not that there's no research and knowledge backing the judgments that are being made. There's actually quite a bit. I feel that it's very important for decisions, particularly made around crime and the police department, to look at the evidence of what's successful and what is not what other people are doing just because they have been doing it for some period of time, but what does make a difference. And there's a lot of criminology analysis made by local criminology departments as well as national criminology departments and the Justice Department of both the state and the federal government, which points to what works and what does not. And there's a lot of money involved pushing us in one way or another, and a lot of misinformation about what works because there's a lot of money involved. So I think we have a responsibility to make a judgment based on that information that we have available to us. If you'd like, I can send you those citations.
I would appreciate. I respect Mr. Farmer, and if he's done the work, I think it would help everyone to see it. I'll give you another example. On the contrary, studies indicate that using studies. Come on, we can do better than that. It's a very vague term.
Have
What's
any of you guys read a scientific paper?
Hold on, Mr. No. Mr. Guys, continue, please.
I just think that it would do better for this committee to significantly revise and improve this report. Because if the work's been done, let's see it. But right now, this is just an opinion letter, and it's just not respectful. It's just one-sided, and that's my opinion.
I'd like to add something. I haven't gotten a chance to speak yet. I happen to agree with a lot of Mr. Geis's opinions here and his analysis.
Yes.
I think that a lot of this is pretty one-sided, and I think I've reminded our ad hoc here a number of times that it's our responsibility to bring us up to national standards of constitutional policing, and
I'm
nationally,
so
a lot of this
sorry.
equipment.
Commissioner,
Excuse
do you
me,
mind,
I'm
do you
speaking.
mind
Hold on.
speaking into your, closer to your microphone? Just,
Sure. Can you
yeah,
hear me better now?
that is so much better. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys were heard me, but I'll rephrase what I was saying. I've had to one, I agree with a lot of Mr. Geis's opinions and his analysis. I think that I've had to remind this ad hoc a number of times that it's our responsibility to bring the Oakland Police Department, closer to national standards of constitutional policing. And a lot of this equipment is national standards. Even regionally, we've spoken about this before, it is regional standards. But I think that we have some opinions and maybe some personal agendas here that drive a lot of this report and a lot of this letter here, that that I also disagree with, and unfortunately, I am outvoted on this commission. Like, if I was to vote on this, I wouldn't vote in favor of it, because even stuff like when it comes to a Bearcat. I don't know. Like, I'm not necessarily opposed to a civilian SUV that's armored or whatever it is, but it has to be something that OPD agrees with, and I don't know where that's at. We haven't proposed something that they agree with. They have proposed something that we don't agree with. I know we're trying to fixate on something that a previous chief had proposed, but the current chief said that that's a non-binding agreement. He's not going to stick with it. So, I don't agree with a lot of this, and I don't really see how this is going to advance the issue moving forwards.
Can I, Commissioner Rouse,
Please, Mr. Farmer, yes.
Yeah, no, I think that, thank you everyone for your comments. I'm not sure exactly what Commissioner Dawood's talking about, personal agendas. This is all, data driven, and based on what's been done in the past and precedent. We discussed about this in detail at the last Militarized Equipment Ad Hoc Committee. Commissioner Dawood, you were also part of the discussion that we had with the other armored vehicle provider who OPD has done business with before at that meeting. You were there, but you also said the last meeting that that person didn't provide examples of NIJ4 level protection, which is not correct. And I can share that video with everyone if they'd like.
I don't remember seeing
that.
that.
Hold on. And
Okay.
that was a disingenuous statement. I feel like you're being disingenuous a little bit right now. But this is all according to the facts. And while the chief has said a couple of different things about not wanting to go against what another chief has done in the past, he said that as well. So it's not just the chief, it was people within the department who made this proposal. And whether something is legally binding or not, that's that they knew the agreement they were making at the time. That's not really the point. It's an agreement that the department made with the police commission and the community to do a certain thing. And all we're doing is following up on that. So that's all I have to say for now.
I do remember the call that you and I were both on, and nothing I said was disingenuous. The closest that we got to was a Mercedes Sprinter van that could be outfitted, I think, up to 308. But they specifically said if we wanted it to get up to 50 caliber, that one, it wouldn't be able to ride up curbs. Then it would also be a tip over risk, and he would not recommend it. And matter of fact, it'd be cheaper because he had to ship it over from Europe or something like that.
Well, he
So
said he
that
could do up to NIJ4 level.
I seem to remember him saying that it couldn't get up on a curb, and that it was a tip. He was worried
Okay.
about it tipping, so he did not recommend it.
All right. Yeah. And then thank you for following up on that. And another thing on that point, in regards to the whole NIJ4 level of protection that the Bearcat currently has, um, there's they've never needed that level of protection. It's out on the street, so it's not even necessarily something that is realistic or is in accordance with credible intelligence. So I'm trying not to rehash this whole Bearcat discussion here again tonight, Commissioner Riles. I don't want this to take over the meeting, but I just wanted to respond. I see the police officers want to respond. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we need to have a separate meeting dedicated just to the Bearcat discussion, or we should just move forward with the agreement that we have. I don't know why we're trying to roll back decisions being made, whether they're legally binding or not. An agreement is an agreement. A verbal agreement is a type of contract. So,
Go ahead, officer.
Yeah, if I may, and I said this in the past, I'm very familiar with what was presented in the past. It was an ambulance style front end with a ballistic box on the back. That is not durable. The number one thing we need in a replacement is durability. And it's not necessarily the 50 caliber rating, we need the durability. So if we can stop talking about what was presented in the past, because it's a no-go. It's not durable.
mhm. My understanding in terms of durability had to do with the chassis and it being able to carry around the level or the weight of the armor. And that's why the current Bearcat has been in the shop. At least this is what OPD has said.
No, that is not correct.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just finish. And
Okay,
then
but you're not correct.
respond.
Go ahead.
No, what the department has said has been that the Bearcat has been in the shop more than it's been available. They've said that in
That's
the
not
past.
true either. That's
Well,
not true.
okay. Well, I guess those officers weren't being truthful when they made that statement
What
publicly at a
officers?
police commission meeting. So
I'm
I'm just
the
repeating what they said.
lieutenant of the
I'm
Special
repeating what they
Operations
said.
Section. I'm in charge of the Bearcat. So
Okay.
what officers told you that?
Oh, I can send you the link from the meeting back from 2019, and we can dig up that person's name, and you and I can have a follow-up discussion about that if you'd like. That's one of the references that I provided to Commissioner Rouse. Is from a meeting from 2019.
Okay,
I've repeatedly asked,
almost 6 years ago.
and I've repeatedly asked, just one last thing. I don't want us to keep cutting each other off. I've repeatedly asked for the corrective and preventive maintenance records of the Bearcats. We can actually look at that analysis on paper and see what it looks like so we can make a fact-based decision on that.
The Bearcat is extremely reliable and it is almost always in service.
Yeah. No,
And it's not the chassis carrying the armor. It's durability of criminals crashing into us. If you could please write that down so I don't have to repeat myself.
I don't need to write it down. I hear you.
Yes,
I'll
and I said
definitely-
it last time too, and then you
Yeah.
just keep repeating yourself.
Well, I'm just reiterating what the officers have said to us in the past. They said
Just
that
like you're saying, the officers,
hear you.
like
I
the
heard you.
study,
I heard you,
none of this
sir.
makes sense.
Sir, I heard you. I hear you. And what I'm going to reiterate is that we've been told that a lot of it has to do with the hard stops. That's all. But thank you for letting us know.
Durability is the
I heard
number
you.
one
Durability. Thank you
factor.
very much, sir.
Durability.
Thank you very much, sir.
So when you say durability, you mean not spending a lot of time in the shop being repaired?
No, suspects ramming us head on.
Oh, you're saying
Yes,
with
the same thing I said last
being
time.
being able to withstand
An impact from a motor
an
vehicle
impact.
at 20 miles an hour plus.
All right, so that's a different kind of durability than
And I'm
that
sorry
you're
I'm
talking
getting
about.
passionate about this, but I said all of this in previous meetings.
Okay. Well, no, I hear you, and thank you very much for reiterating that in your experience with it. You know, we've heard different things from different representatives of OPD, so
I don't
um,
know who those representatives are.
well, that okay. Well, I'm just
Time,
telling
time,
you.
time.
Like, I don't know what the
Excuse me,
studies
gentlemen.
are that show.
Can I just interject for a second? It's already 7:04. Um, and I feel like right now we're at an impasse.
Yeah,
Uh, Commissioner Omar
Ryan. Oh,
or Ross,
go
um,
ahead.
you're constantly saying stuff that's very vague instead of providing details. And I think that's where the issue comes from. You say officers, but you don't give names. You say studies, but you don't give the source of the information. And you're referring to something that took place 4 years ago. And I just don't feel like you're open to hearing and trying to get an understanding of the perspective of the police officers. I thought that we're supposed to be partners in trying to do what's best for everybody involved, including the community. But when we're talking and we're not listening to get an understanding versus listening to just give a response, it puts it at an impasse. Um, Agreed that the conversation regarding the Bearcat should be something separate. And this has been stated several times because we always end up here and we can never move forward in our meetings.
Mhm.
Everybody's time is valuable. And so we need to be able to be productive in this meeting. So um, that's just where I'm going to leave that. Is there anything else that we can talk about? And we can come back to this Bearcat situation, or you guys can figure out when you're going to have another uh, meeting in regards to that as a one-off.
I do have some
Well, I mean,
follow-up.
we
Yeah.
need to, the commissioners need to talk about whether or not we can separate off this decision from a general position that we're taking in regards to the 2024 military equipment report. We have the responsibility of, we're past time for responding to the 2024 report.
Right.
So the commissioners will have to decide whether we can separate the Bearcat off or include this decision, because the question around the Bearcat, if we move forward with the report as it is now, the issue would come up again at the commission meeting, and it would come up at the Public Safety Committee meeting. So there would be additional so-called bites of the apple where folks can present their concerns or differences about the position that we've taken. As I said, I will add back to, or at least to the folks who participated here in the ad hoc, the citations that Commissioner Farmer included, which has the specifics of who said what, when, about what, that I had taken off. I take responsibility for having taken that off, but that can be added back in so that folks will have those specific references. But I don't think it's about the references. I think that even if you can look at which members of the department made the agreement, which said what, when, where, I think we would still end up with this difference of opinion here about the Bearcat and about
True.
what is necessary for Oakland to have. And so we're going to have to move through our political process of how we're making this decision, and that's laid out before us.
Right. Well, you guys are not on the same accord in the commission itself regarding this letter. And then it's also causing contention on this side. And a house divided against itself cannot stand.
Chair,
Mm.
I'm so sorry,
so-
Ms. Joseph. I have a recommendation for how to move us forward, but I don't want to cut you off, and I also know that Mr. Nyo has his hand up first.
Yeah, no problem. So again, this is, I can't speak to anything about the Bearcat. I just know that we're at an impasse and we always die on this hill and we're not getting, past
I
it.
hear you.
So if we can just proceed with the rest of whatever the questions are, and then maybe we can put that at the end because it's 7:08. So I
I
have
hear
a
you.
question. I'll say this. I have a question about
Please.
something that
Mhm.
was written in the last meeting when you guys spoke about the transparency of or missing information from the report, the 2020-24 report. Now, were you specifically referring to the spreadsheet that had the all of the documentation of the occurrences when the items were when the equipment was deployed?
We were.
Okay, and so you are aware that that was published and on the website, correct?
I
Oh,
am,
okay,
yes.
so that was one of the questions that I had about the information not being in the report. You're still questioning it when it was already provided?
No,
So,
I'm just saying it when it was originally submitted,
okay,
it wasn't
got
there.
it. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. And then another thing, as far as the research that I did, reaching out to LC Action, I think there was a question or a concern about what took place with the rifles and the firearms after they were either sold back or traded. Do you recall that? Because we were talking about trading in, using some of the funds,
Yes, there was some concern about that.
right? And
Did you contact them around that?
I did, and they said they are the firearms, the decommissioned firearms are either resold to retired officers or for agencies that don't choose to participate in the buyback or trade-in, they melt them down.
I see. That's very
Yeah.
helpful.
Hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mhm.
I just really quickly, thank you, Miss Joseph, for that, and apologies to anyone for the back and forth. It's hard for me to reconcile everything that's been told to me in the past, in medium term to present. I'm just trying to come to terms with all that and make the most informed decision that I can. Absolutely open to listening to everyone involved in this process. That's all.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I can't see a hand. Is there a hand up?
Both myself and
No,
Mr.
and
Nyo.
then Jennifer too.
Okay.
Juan.
I do want to move away on from the Bearcat, but I do also want to make a point that we need to know what other large cities in Alameda County equipment profile looks like. If we could get a list of that, Oakland's a large city in Alameda County. Fremont is the second largest city, I believe. So I'd like to know what's going on in Fremont. And then outside of Alameda County, I think San Jose also is another large city that comes to mind. So I'd like to compare Fremont and San Jose equipment profile compared to ours. That would be helpful for me, information. And then I also think that Oakland has is public safety. People keep repeating that as like the number one concern, and it's our officers that have put their lives at risk. They are subject matter experts in this matter. They deal with this on a daily basis, responding to over 3,000 911 calls a day. I want them to have their input as somebody who put their lives on the line for us and our community and protecting us. And I think that should be taken seriously. That's my comment.
Thank you, sir. Mhm. Go ahead. Is it Jennifer?
Yes, thank you. So I want to kind of go up a level a little bit and just remind everyone about the two laws that we are working with and why we are doing this work. Besides, our passion for the city that we all care about. One is the city ordinance 9.65. The other is state law AB 481. the city law is the one that has the requirements around how quickly the police commission needs to review and act on the annual report. The state law has a separate requirement that's not part of the city law, but which Oakland is still subject to. And the state law requires the city council or whatever the governing body is, so that's Board of Supervisors or the city council, to annually review the policies and to review the policies annually. And not having that happen would put OPD out of compliance with state law. And so what I'm hoping we might be able to do is there's kind of two questions that this ad hoc has been grappling with. One is around the policies, and then the other is about the inventories, specifically whether to increase inventories. I think I heard the department earlier say that they plan on replacing the rifles, which sounds like that's a significant step forward for being able to come to agreement, since the expansion of that inventory was a sticking point. So if so, then that sounds like one possible policy that could be sent on for review and approval by the police commission and the city council. It sounds like for the Bearcat, we may want to decide whether or not the policy as is fine to move forward, and have the question of whether there is or is not a change in the inventory number or a change in the specific make and models for that to be a separate issue to be taken on in a different way. And so I'm wondering if that's something that we can, if this is a useful lens for this group to look at for how we can move this work forward. And if so, I do want to express one concern around the increase in the number of drones. One thing that Oakland Privacy Advisory Commission Chair Brian Hofer pointed out is that there is a much greater risk and potential for data from the drones to be used by federal immigration purposes. So one concern about the drones, and also a question on if we can move forward on places for the police commission and the city council to agree to review and consider and hopefully approve the policy.
That's very helpful, Jennifer. And I would agree with you that we should drop off of this position paper as it's written about the additional rifles, since they're just replacing the current number that they have. So there's no objection to that. So we can approve the replacement of the rifles. Essentially is where I'm at this point. I don't know if another one of the commissioners wants to respond about that issue. I think that's clarified for me.
It sounds good to me as well.
So you do have someone
to
in the
me.
audience who's looking to, sorry, Commissioner DeWitt. You do have one person in the audience, Orlando Johnson, who has his hand raised.
Yes, go ahead, Orlando.
Yep, could you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, my question was, it says that the Oakland Bearcat is an armed vehicle designed to withstand significant impact from other vehicles with minimum damage due to its heavy-duty military-grade construction. In most collisions, the standard vehicle is badly damaged, while the Bearcat sustained minimal cosmetic damage. So the question was, after God said they're using a Bearcat so it can protect them from cars being damaged, after saying it already have it already, what's the use of having a Bearcat? No, there's no high profile crimes every day to use a significant of manpower. We don't have terrorist threats. We don't have invasion. So as a citizen, what is the purpose of spending thousands of dollars on the grade of the bullets, not just the bullets that they use, the caliber, but the gunpowder that they use. So how much money is you spending on the gunpowder to use for those Bearcats compared to the average bullets that they buy in California? So why are we spending money basically on gunpowder to try to protect our city?
Can I answer that? We have over 15,000 cars that were stolen, and they're
Hold on,
oftentimes used to
hold on,
ram
Mr.
and
No,
shock.
Mr. No. Wait, I don't think he's done yet. Hold on.
So I'm saying this for an educational purpose. I've been born and raised in Oakland, 1973. I've been in Group Homes County Jail, Seaway Penitentiary. I ran for mayor of Oakland twice. I'm one of the co-founders of the Oakland Green Party. I'm an elected official for Alameda County Council. I'm a Green Party elected official, and I sit on the Green Party Credential Committee of the United States. I live this, so this is not nothing that I'm talking about. I'm just doing this for an educational purpose, so we can both have an understanding, so I can let my folks know on the street that, hey, they spending money on military stuff. So if you're using it, you're gonna have to use it on somebody as a test pilot program. So I want to get my folks aware, hey man, we don't need this military grade. Take that money and put in something else. You already got violent prevention, but to anyone on here, I'm just here for an educational purpose. I'm not here
Thank
to
you.
with you. I'm not here to dispute with you. I'm just here to agree to disagree, but not take what I say and try to put a spin on it. Try to put some positive on what I'm saying instead of trying to put something negative on what's the outcome.
Well,
Over.
thank you, Mr. Johnson, for your participation as well as your input. We do genuinely appreciate your opinion. I think that one of the delineations, we don't want to get too much deeper into the Bearcat discussion, but with regard to vehicle collisions, yes, the Bearcat is designed to better withstand a minor collision with a vehicle better than a civilian vehicle. Whereas, for example, my Ford Taurus would likely be totaled if another vehicle rammed it. The Bearcat can sustain some significant impacts. It's the quantity of impacts that this vehicle sustains over the years, which over time can prove detrimental despite its robust build quality, which has proven to be a challenge, and that's something that we'll need to consider moving forward in terms of its replacement.
That's clear. Thank you very much. I think we understand what durability is being referred to at this point. So as commissioners, we want to take that into account when we make our decision, and we'll have to decide whether we'll move forward using the shape that Jennifer put forward, where we would make our decision on everything else and separate out the discussion about the Bearcat separate from the other item, because that seems to be the principal item that we're hung up on. Captain Febble, I wondered if you might comment on the drone situation.
Yes.
Are we at the drone situation presently?
We do have a Mr.
Yeah, you
Captain
want me to jump
DQ on the
on here?
line. Hey, real quick, can I throw one thing out real quick? It's very important. I know everybody on this call understands this, but definitely for Mr. Johnson, who's a community member who's joining tonight, we are governed by policy 415, our immigration policy, that we do not use drones, personnel, or any other technologies to assist HSI or ICE investigations. We are strictly prohibited from that. So I just want to make that very clear to this group and friends and family, community members, that OPD has a very strict policy, policy 415 policy. Please look it up online. That strictly prohibits that type of activity.
So you're saying that doubling the number of drones would not increase the risk of that kind of information getting to ICE?
Absolutely. So we are prohibited from voluntarily sharing that information.
I actually appeared before the Privacy Commission to talk about the issue of immigration deportation about 2 years ago. what we really should worry about is the rental registration, because that collected private personal identifying information with geosensitive location data that is combined with metadata that the feds have. And I would at that point said, hey, we need to look into this. Our system was hacked at the city of Oakland, and Trump could subpoena the city for this data. And we are compromising our immigrant residents and our sanctuary. We are a sanctuary city. So if that is the concern, we need to look at other policies that are actually puts our residents at risk, like the rental registry that we haven't tackled. And I have raised that repeatedly. And also there was concern that the flock camera would be shared with ICE, but I looked into it, that the flock camera system does not have facial recognition or take biometrics data. It just looks at license plates and identify vehicles. Oftentimes, like I said, over 15,000 vehicles were stolen in Oakland in 1 year. And we need to be able to make sure that those vehicles that are stolen are put back in the hands of owners, that they're not used to commit further crime and rammed into stores and rammed into other vehicles and run red lights. When my vehicles were stolen, I remember my van was provided back months later and it was unrecognizable. It was completely totaled. So these vehicles are used to do crime and ram. So we need to be able to address that.
Chair Riles, Rajni Mandal has her hand up, and then Jennifer too, please.
Thank you. Tuan, that was very helpful. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, that was helpful for me to hear as well. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Mandal.
Thank you. I first just wanted to clarify if the review of the MU includes formal proposals from OPD for new militarized equipment. I don't see the requirements set in the municipal ordinance 9.65, which include a submission to the commission, which includes the needs for the funds and or equipment or otherwise justifying the request. So I propose that the review from the commission be limited to the MEU report, which details the use of current militarized equipment. Therefore, the commission will be voting on whether to approve, revoke, or modify the use of the equipment based on the criteria in 9.65020C. As for the policy review and request for new equipment, those are separate requests with separate procedures in the municipal code. So they should be followed according to the city ordinance. I'd also like to reiterate what was said at the last ad hoc committee meeting. OPD are your subject matter experts when it comes to the use of this equipment. And as Commissioner Dowett mentioned, there are national standards as well. So I'd hope that the other commissioners follow the appropriate procedures and use appropriate sources for the review and recommendations. And finally, AB 481 says the city council is supposed to review the city ordinance about militarized equipment, not every single OPD policy. Thank you.
Yeah, I hear that. I appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am.
Miss Two, did you want to say something really quick?
Yes, just very quickly, there is some interplay between the OMC and state law. I'm happy to go into it offline. I'll drop my email into the chat if I'm able to. It's jtu@afsc.org, just in case I can't. And I did want to add one other thing that the Oakland Privacy Commission Chair had mentioned, is that in terms of directly sharing, there's more of a concern around indirect sharing. For example, he said that OPD had collaborated with U.S. Marshals, and U.S. Marshals have been used for immigration enforcement purposes. So it's not necessarily whether the department is actively cooperating with ICE, which it definitely sounds very clear that there is both. There's not that is not happening, but whether that indirect might be able to happen. And so, and I'm also kind of wondering what our next steps are.
Appreciate that. So this is how I see us moving forward. And if particularly one of the commissioners wants to move otherwise, please speak up. But that the three of us take into account what has been discussed here, at the ad hoc, and if the chief comes back and wants to also add some comments to us within the next couple of days, but that we take to the end of this week to redraft the comment, and we shoot at bringing it before the commission for the second meeting in September.
September 25th, is that what you're referring to, Mr. Ross?
Yes, sir. Mr. DeWitt, is that workable with you?
Just so I understand it correctly, you're saying that we wait for the chief to get his formal opinion, and then we'll take a vote on this at our September 25th meeting, as the entire police commission?
That's right.
Okay. Sure. I know September 25th we have some pretty heavy stuff to vote on in that meeting as well. But I'm not necessarily opposed. I don't know if Micah, you have a
We
suggestion
do.
when it comes to the
We
planning around
do.
this.
So, yeah, that's why I said either the 25th or the first meeting in in October would be the most appropriate.
You think that it would be better for the first meeting in October, Ms. Montgomery?
I do think it would be, if this is not going to be a heavy topic and you have it and everyone here comes to an agreement and it's streamlined and you've gotten all that in place by the 25th, yes, we could do it on the 25th, but if not, and there's going to be discussion, I would recommend we have it on the first meeting of October.
Well, I think it's definitely going to be
If it's a
some,
reflection of what's happened tonight, I would say October, the first meeting of October would probably be most appropriate.
the first commission meeting in October. Let's shoot for that. That'll give the chief a
To
little
give
more
some
time.
time to work this stuff out.
We'll
Yes.
try. We'll try. And as I said, I will get out the citations to everyone that Mr. Farmer had included in the prior draft. So it's 7:30 now. I want to thank everybody for your participation and for your contributions. They've all made a big difference to what we're trying to do here. Not easy, and we're going to work through this because we know how to do that in Oakland. We can work through difficult issues.
I have a quick question. I see acting Captain Febble twice. I'm assuming someone else is using
Yep,
his
that's me, Omar. That's me, Omar Dazik. I do not could not find the link for like 10 minutes, so he sent it to me. So if
no
you can,
worries. I just
perfect.
wasn't
Thank
sure
you.
I
Nope.
wasn't sure who to include.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
No
let's
problem.
use video next time, then we can tell who is who.
Yeah, I know. I'm driving, or I would.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody. Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody.